I forgot to do the window. Brilliant. Everything's sorted. Blimey. Welcome, everybody. October is... I was going to say nearly done, but there's like a whole week. Kind of let the side down. Also, I've let the side down. All the shops that were bloody selling their Halloween stuff have, like, closed. Because they're gone out of business. So I can't do the whole spook AJ by coming on with a Jason Voorhees mask. Like he said at the start of the month. Unless I can find one really cheap in the next 7 days. Let's hope. Anyway, so yes. Towards the end of the month is usually the time when we do our Oscars predictions. And this show is no exception. It is myself, Ashley, hosting this shindig, along with Owen.
Hey everyone.
Who will also be on chat duty with all that sort of stuff. And AJ.
Yeah.
And I guess the somewhat great thing about the state of the race is very little has happened. I think the Eddie Awards are now confirmed, which means I think every major body apart from the Writers Guild, we now know at least awards ceremony dates, if not when the nominations are happening. They're really holding out. I'm not sure why. They're the ones that went off strike first. I thought it made more sense for SAG to not have dates, but they have. London Film Festival throws an interesting pig in the works because their favourite film, at least from the people that from the jury, was Hamaguchi's Evil Will Not Die. I think that's what it's called, I think, isn't it? Which, of course, is not Japan's submission for the foreign film. Great. They did do voting for, like, audience awards, but voting finished for them a few days back and they still haven't disclosed what that is, so it'll be interesting to see what connected with them. The only other thing LFF notes that I saw, the mystery film was Michael Mann's Ferrari, which I saw relatively good things about. Although I think, I'm calling this now, we might have an Oscars year where an Aardman film doesn't get in. Because I've heard not good things about the Chicken Run sequel, which is a shame. But then if you're on the team of, like, why did they recast Nadia Sawalha with Thandie Newton, you might be pleased with that. I don't know. But I think other than that, we're just building towards... Because Gotham is mid-November, I think? It's usually around then, isn't it? Or is it early December? I have to quickly check. Oh, there it goes, flashing. Brilliant. Gotham Awards 2023. Quickly double check.
November 27th.
Yeah. So probably in or around when we're going to do our next predictions. Give or
Actually,
take.
they're announcing the nominees on tomorrow.
Oh. Good old sandwich. So, I think we'll first go to the chat because we've got some comments in there which are sort of adjacent. I know I say adjacent. It's probably making up for the fact that we haven't got a Q&A. We've got some Josie stuff, a few Spencer bits. And Brian as well. Right. I guess I'll go through these bits first because I can pay attention to it. When we get to the actual award stuff, I'll let you handle that, Owen.
All right, it's fine.
Okay. So Josie says, "Hey Popcast team, I just finished reading The Great Ghost Rescue by Eva Ibbotson. It was a fun, spooky season book about a boy who tries to help a family of homeless ghosts get a new home. So Casper, sort of." I also read some short stories in Sherman and Lex's collection, The Love Iantha. The Lone Ranger and Tonto fistfight in this. Fistfight in Heaven, the basis for smoke signals. And the first time watches The Faculty, Tales from the Hood, Lake Placid, and Alligator. With an alligator emoji. I'm guessing it is an alligator. I don't know.
That's a strong lineup until you throw Lake Placid into it.
I mean, that has its I wouldn't say it's a so good it's bad, but it's sort of a light-hearted sort of thing. The problem is when we get to Lake Placid 2 and 3, the direct-to-video ones. That's when it goes seriously wrong. Josie also says, I saw Killers of the Flower Moon yesterday. It was brilliant all around. Some of the frames of Rodrigo Prieto cinematography are almost like painting stills. It's fair. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've also heard it's 3.5 hours. So
It doesn't feel its length, and yeah, Josie, that pretty much hits the nail right on the head. It looks absolutely breathtaking.
Spencer says, I love Todd Haynes' The Man is Fire. What, he's actually fire? Was he an elemental? Josie says, granted, I am thinking that way partially because I'm in art class right now and I've just finished my first monochrome painting. That must be pretty good. Because it's like, you obviously don't have to go black and white. You've got so many different shades of grey, literally, that you can work with. Spencer also says, sometimes I think about how many silent actors we lost. I guess when we transition into the talkies era and it never carried over. I still love the story of the ventriloquist who only did radio stuff, who went on television, and when he did ventriloquism, his mouth just moved when he did it, and people realized, oh, and his career just died. That was literally Video Killed the Radio Star. But it was about 20 years before the song.
When you said, I love the ventriloquist that did radio, I thought you were telling a joke and that was the punchline.
No, it's not a joke. It's legit fact. That I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it was a show called Educating Archie. And he did this stuff, which was on radio, and it was this really cute character. And then as soon as he went on TV, people realized that his lips were moving when he was doing the stuff. So it was like, that isn't ventriloquism.
So he's like the Florence Foster Jenkins of ventriloquism, basically.
Sort of. But then again, she still had a following, whereas his really just died off. It ended his career. Florence was like the Blackbird of movies. We'll get to that on Movie Club eventually. I've just got to wait for it to show up somewhere on an American streaming service. Somebody have the gumption to go, you know what? Let's put this crap on our service.
So yeah, the ventriloquist in question's name is Peter Brow, and the doll is Archie Andrews.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Josie also watched Cat People.
Did she put out fires?
That was the last thing that she posted on here, so I saw that a second ago.
Then so again, the original or the Schrader one?
Josie did mention the original one from the 40s.
Here we go.
I think both that and the sequel are on BBC iPlayer just permanently because I think because they're RKO, they're basically sort of public domain over here. So if you want to watch something spooky that isn't Escape Room, like apparently is being pushed from the BBC for this Halloween, dear Lord. I mean, at least there's other stuff on, like Alien, like good stuff. I mean, I shouldn't be dissing too much on Escape Room, but it wasn't as good as like other things anyway.
To not bury the lead, so I make sure we don't lose anything in translation here. Josie also talks about Vampire or Vampire, a great silent sort of film to watch during spooky season. Todd Browning's The Unknown, which I watched for the first time recently. Excellent. Speaking of that ventriloquist, another horror I watched was Magic. Of course, the magic wand emoji with Anthony Hopkins.
That's the only interest. That's another thing, I guess, it comes up in terms of state of the race. Apparently, the One Voice or whatever it is, the Nicholas Winton story, is getting a 2024 release. So confusingly, it might show up at BAFTAs, but won't be eligible for Oscars until possibly next season. We're going back to that. Oh crap! Thanks, Bleecker Street. I guess. Right. And is there anything? Do you want to say anything else in chat, Owen, while I grab my dinner?
Actually, no. I want to dip away from chat for a minute and go with a couple things. This is more of an AJ commentary, actually, than anything else. So Spencer messaged me, AJ, and he did mention that there's a possibility he may come in late. So, but he's here. But I still want to bring up a couple things. Spencer says, I watched some good movies we should talk about in some form someday. He watched The Lady Eve, Ball of Fire, Now Voyager, The Little Foxes, The Magnificent Ambersons, Double Indemnity, Persona, Autumn Sonata, Come Home Little Sheba, Poison, Safe, Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans, Laura, Milena, Mildred Pierce, and The Philadelphia Story.
That sounds like when I when I really started getting into Turner Classic Movies. That's very close to just what the lineup was.
God.
There was
Also,
a couple of more recent ones were in there, but yeah.
Also, Spencer watched the Shutter Island verses, and he says, I was always interested. Scorsese made this movie. My Soul to Take is a beautiful disaster of a movie. It's my version of The Room. It makes me mad, but in a fun way.
Whatever floats your boat, I guess.
Indeed. I think the rest of chat, Josie is talking about watching Killers of the Flower Moon. She said the performances are outstanding, especially Lily Gladstone. Now that I've seen it, I agree with her decision to go lead. I think this take that she should have gone supporting because she would have been a slam dunk is BS. First of all, you don't know that. Not with Danielle Brooks and Divine Joy Randolph in the mix. Secondly, she's in the movie enough to be considered a lead, and even off screen we feel her presence. Third, it's gross and disingenuous when people who claim themselves to be progressive and liberal say she should go supporting because it was her decision to do to represent her people. Love Robertson's score. It would be interesting if he wins a posthumous award. I think it would be deserving. I agree wholeheartedly with everything you've said.
Also, on the Killers stuff, I find it fascinating that Lily did the 15-part, like, I don't know if it was PBS television or PBS YouTube, like going through the actual like ins and outs of movies. So writing, acting, directing, set dressing, sort of all the different bits, and she hosted it, and she's actually a pretty good host for it. Really informative.
Well, with everything that Josie did to put over Killers of the Flower Moon, which of course I wholeheartedly agree with, she obviously has to put over her movie as well. Mentions, I think Poor Things could still win Best Picture without Emma Stone winning that lead actress if it wins director and or adapted, and a tech or two similar to The Shape of Water. It's definitely in the conversation, at least right now. But it's October, so things are going to start getting a little bit more permanent as we move forward in the rest of this year.
It's still just crazy. I mean, I love it, but it's still just crazy to me how unanimously loved Lanthimos is when he seems like he should be extremely divisive.
Yeah.
And he's just not. Everybody just loves him, and that's amazing.
So yeah, that's chat. I think I've knocked everything out. I went over everything that was said. Yep. So we have predictions from the chat as well. We'll get to those when we actually go through them. And of course, Josie brings her script dictions back. And I'm getting a UIC logo from AJ's picture here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but for once, it's not me.
Everything.
Oh.
I mean, everything's fine now, but everything stopped for a second, so.
It says unstable internet connection. I had this last time.
Okay. Everything looks fine on my end, so I don't know what's up. Like, I'm basically in the green.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so if I time it right, wait a few seconds, and then press save, we will now get underway with the predictions. Starting off, as ever, with adapted screenplay. First to you, AJ.
Alright, I didn't change anything. And, I mean, I'm still pretty confident in these 5 because I'm not making the fucking change no matter how much they want me to. So I still have American Fiction, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I don't think Barbie's going to get away with going into original. And I'm going to stick with that.
Well, AJ, the fun thing I'm seeing lately now is the fact that there are people that are predicting it in both. So it's like there's a chance that it's getting nominated. It just depends on if it's got a chance to win or just a chance to contend.
I guess at some point the Academy's going to have to rule on it, right?
I feel like they usually do, like, at the last. Like, I feel like Moonlights was like at the very last minute.
So, pretty similar for me. No changes. I still have American Fiction, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Because I'm still towing the line and putting Barbie in original. If it was adapted, I'd probably push out Zone of Interest for Barbie to go in. That would be the 5th, but I've heard good things, at least from the London stuff, regarding Priscilla and All of Us Strangers, which I think All of Us Strangers was in possibly before. And then I now have to consider The Colour Purple, considering that's actually coming out.
We'll go to chat and then I'll finish with mine. So Brian's lineup adapted exactly the same thing that AJ said. Nothing changed for him either. Spencer's lineup's interesting. Best adapted screenplay for Spencer is Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Blackberry, and The Zone of Interest.
There is one thing about Blackberry which I saw today. Apparently, it's going to be on AMC, but they're splitting it into 3 parts.
That's right. I saw that today myself.
So does that mean it's eligible for the Emmys?
Hey, anything to get that movie or get that presentation more eyes on it, I'm completely down with.
So, I would assume not, since it started theatrical.
Yeah. But maybe it's
That's weird they're doing that.
Maybe it's a way to get it interested or whatever. Not interested. Get the keep it in the back of people's head sort of thing by having it available in a edited. I say edited version. I guess just cropped down for television edition and spliced up. Angels in America style.
So, if you remember from Josie's script dictions from last month, she basically does a top 10 of everything. So, I want to read these real quick. Obviously, we don't have 10, but somewhere in this 10 makes sense. All of Us, Strangers, American Fiction, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Peasants, Poor Things, Spider-Verse, Taste of Things, The Zone of Interest. That being said, once again, great minds think alike, AJ. My adapted lineup also has not changed and is also exactly the same thing that you said. I don't really see. I mean, if Barbie ends up going adapted instead of them pushing it to original, I don't see many worlds that this isn't the 5.
I just had something to add on the BlackBerry thing. So are we basically catering now to those people that say they can't sit down for a 2-hour movie, but they'll binge watch a series? Is that what we're doing now?
Yes.
To get people to watch things?
Yes.
I mean,
so
possibly.
Fuck those people.
I watched something today that you would have absolutely lost your mind at. There was a video that came across my feed when I was looking at certain content, and this person's feed came across. He's a YouTuber by the name of Reckless Ben. And he did this gimmick where he created a Gen Z movie theater. So he showed The Godfather, but while The Godfather was going on, he had like other videos, video clips, video games, just basically like short attention span theater, just so people would watch the whole entirety of The Godfather. It was like a social experiment.
Because they're not.
Go ahead.
But they're not.
Okay.
They are, but they're watching a bunch of crap around it because obviously we're in the TikTok generation. Everything has to be catered to what happened 2 seconds ago.
Just as long as 2 of the screens of the video games is The Godfather the game and Godfather 2 the game. Because it fits. It's the same topic area.
Yeah, I actually like that game, actually. A lot. It's a fun game to play. And it's very true to the movies.
Let's go to original before I throw my out the window.
Sounds like a good idea.
I didn't make any. Can you hear? I went to the red again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's coming through okay.
No, we can hear you fine. We just can't see you. So now it's just Ashley on camera with a bunch of pictures.
Confusingly, I can see him. So
that's weird.
I didn't make any changes in original, but I considered something. So I still have Anatomy of a Fall, the holdovers, the Iron Claw, Past Lives, and Saltburn. Because the Iron Claw and Past Lives are apparently still getting slept on, but I'm not gonna go against them yet. So Maestro is reacted to. Is that new? Can you hear me?
What's new? I heard that's new.
Something about Maestro is what I heard, and then I couldn't hear much of it.
That
That's what's going on.
Maestro has been seen and reviewed now. Is that news or is that old?
I don't know if it's old. Something that just came across my feed recently. Like today, they were talking about Carrie and Bradley Cooper both.
Well, based on what I saw, I actually considered it going here, but I went ahead and kept the 5 I did. Saltburn's like really hanging on for dear life for me, but I'm hoping that changes one way or the other soon as far as confidence. So,
all right.
I also stuck with the 5 that I had from last month, being Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Past Lives, and Saltburn. The 2 that are on the cusp of making it in, because I would also say Saltburn's on my cusp, and if Barbie does become adapted, the 2 that would probably move in would be Maestro and Iron Claw. Having now actually seen a trailer for Iron Claw, which looks promising, I want to start giving it some love, and it's showing up. But yeah, I don't feel confident enough yet moving it. It'll be interesting to see if anything happens with, because is Amazon considered independent? Because like Amazon films have been part of Gotham before, despite the fact it's Amazon. So that's why it's confusing.
I'm starting to think there's no such thing as independent anymore. So I don't know. I really don't know.
So I'll stick with that for now. But you know, if Barbie switches and Saltburn's on the cusp like it is with AJ, those are the 2 that I've got on what they call it, on reserve duty in case they need to step in.
I hope I can get to some of these because I'm trying to do it in order, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. Brian's lineup for original is Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, The Iron Claw, May December, of Past Lives. Again, nothing changes. Spencer's lineup is The Holdovers, Past Lives, Maestro, May December, and Air. I'm trying to keep everything in order here as best I can because I'm the one that's got some of this stuff. Josie's original lineup for the 10 would be About Dry Grasses, Anatomy of a Fall, Asteroid City, The Boy and the Heron, Fallen Leaves, The Holdovers, The Monk and the Gun, Past Lives, Perfect Days, Shayla, Shada, and Totem. So this is the part of the show I don't like at all. Not only did I have to make changes, I made a lot of changes and ones that I don't necessarily want to make.
Okay.
Well, somewhat. I don't know. I will have seen Anatomy of a Fall this Friday, so I'll know what I think of that. And I saw a trailer for The Holdovers, and I'm completely confident in it. And I'm still waiting to see the Iron Claw theatrically for the trailer for the first time, like nature intended. And if they let me down this week, I'm watching it on my computer. So the Holdovers, pun not intended here, are the Iron Claw and the Holdovers itself. I had to move Saltburn out. I don't want to move Saltburn out, but I really don't have a choice. Because I moved in Past Lives. Now, AJ is the only one here that knows that I finally saw Past Lives while I was on the plane to California. And I'm wishing I could run it for more things, but I can't. But it belongs here and deserves to be here, and I'm putting it here. Now, Anatomy of the Fall moves in and takes out one of my favorite movies of the year, Air, because I don't think, like AJ said last month, they're going to give Air any credit. So, as much as it deserves all the accolades it could get, it's out of my running now. And I hope that I'm proven wrong, because I'd like that to happen, but I don't think that's the case. Speaking of another one of my favorite movies of the year, everybody knows how big of a supporter I am when it comes to Wes Anderson's work, and I really wanted Asteroid City to get this nomination. However, I feel that with hearing more and more about it, it seems like Maestro is going to have this spot. So yeah, I had to do 3 different changes for my original screenplay lineup, and that is still the albatross hanging over the head if Barbie ends up getting here after all. Then I'll worry about that when we get to it. But yeah, this is a 5 I'm comfortable with, at least for October. And unless something happens in the next month or so, I don't see me changing this lineup.
I mean,
I'm a lot more comfortable with this lineup.
at the rate we're going, Wes Anderson might have 3 films in Best Short Film.
I'm fine with that. Go ahead, AJ.
So we transition
Supporting
to,
actress?
Yeah. Bloodbath number 1.
All right, we were in the green the whole time you guys were talking. So what do you want to bet? As soon as I start this, I'm going to go back into the red. I'm just waiting on it.
I learned the hard way it's not best for me to try to manifest things. It doesn't work out for anyone.
All right. I didn't make any changes still.
Okay.
So if God would like to prove his existence to me, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks and Taraji Benson for The Color Purple, Julianne Moore for May December, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. I don't even really have anything to add. That just feels like a good lineup right now.
That's fair.
And I have not made a change yet, I don't think. So that changes a tiny bit though as we go, but not a lot.
Ashley, Best Supporting Actress.
Mine is a change of sort of variety. So I have Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. I have Danielle Brooks for Color Purple. I've switched it out for Taraji P. Henson for time being. And then the other 3 are Julianne Moore for May December, Rosamund Pike for Saltburn, Divine Joy Randolph for Holdovers. If anything, Henson could move in and replace Pike. So that might be the Daily Double. Somewhere down the line.
Every time you mention Pike, I wonder if I'm sleeping on her a little bit, because I keep forgetting that that's a total possibility.
I'm just putting it in because partly I'm intrigued by it, and all the reviews that I've seen are very sort of really not telling us anything about it.
Mm-mm. The trailer doesn't really give anything away either, honestly.
The reviewers, I guess, are staying true to the fact that not to reveal the hand sort of thing, which
Most
I guess
definitely
is good. So that's the only reason that Pike's in there, but Pike's on the cusp of moving out, just like with screenplay. But I always want to keep it there, because if there's any crumbs of me getting a British film in, we'll get to later on. I've made big changes which are mistakes, but they're only happening this month because I need to champion one movie that I think is going to do very well at the BAFTAs and nobody else will give a damn about it.
All right. Brian, Supporting Actress lineup, no change. Emily Blunt, Danielle Brooks, Taraji P. Henson, Julianne Moore, Divine Joy Randolph. Spencer's lineup is Divine Joy Randolph, Danielle Brooks, Julianne Moore, Penelope Cruz, and Emily Blunt. Josie's 10, E.C. Bagchi, Juliette Binoche, Emily Blunt, Merv Dizdar for About Dry Grasses, Claire Foy for All of Us Strangers, Montserrat Marinon for Totem, Rachel McAdams for Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, Julianne Moore for May December, Anissa Nakano for Perfect Days, Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. Well, I feel like I'm skipping the boat on Julianne Moore here, and I feel like it's going to cost me in the long run because it's one of the ones that I want to run. I kind of have like this revolving door when it comes to supporting actress right now, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when I get there. We all have the ones that we're extremely confident in, and then we have the ones that it's like, I'm not sure. It just depends. So joining Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers, and yes, I guess my shot in the dark is America Ferrara for Barbie. That's the one I could see me potentially bumping out, but it's still there for now. Until I see Barbie starting to lose some steam, that may end up going to Julianne Moore at one point. In a perfect world, Viola Davis would be in this lineup for Air, but I feel like it's going to get slept on, and it's been replaced for the first time by Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple. And it's not a 2-for-1 deal this time around, not in this category at least. I bumped Taraji out, and I'm actually going to run the wild card here, and that's Cara Jade Myers for Killers of the Flower Moon. She is very crucial. She is the reason the movie is basically happening and starts everything down the middle. And in the short time she has on screen, she's very well represented. And if they go all in on Killers of the Flower Moon, I know I've said this in previous years, I've been burned many times. I feel it's not out of the realm of possibility that she could come along, and it's not going to be a tag-along nomination. She deserves to be here.
Do you think this will be one of those things that's consistent through the season, or do you think that'll be one of those things that's surprisingly on nominations morning?
I think it's going to surprise most everyone except for, I mean, I'm not trying to put myself over, but if it's something I stick with, it's going to be something that's going to shock a lot of people, but it's going to be something that I'm going to start getting confidence in blindly. And then when it gets announced, I'm going to be the one to be like, well, I told you so.
I think there's a possibility that it could miss out on everything, but it's with the board that they are, it might get in SAG, and that might give it enough grips to possibly get in on nomination day.
It is 100% a SAG movie. I'm completely fine with that, and I can definitely see it getting a SAG Ensemble nomination. Real quick, couple things from chat so I don't get behind. Found Christopher Bear's score in Past Lives quite lovely. I would like to see it recognized. Yeah, even with my crappy speakers that I had when I watched it on the plane, I still can 100% concur. Clarification, Totem is from Mexico. Fallen Leaves, of course, the leaf emoji, is from Finland. Perfect Days is from Japan. And Shida is from Australia. Monk and the Gun is from Bhutan. And Peasants is from Poland. America Ferrara's character's husband in Barbie is her real-life husband. Yeah. Love Cara Jane Myers and Killers. She needs more notices. Good on you for mentioning, Owen. No problem. Fun fact, she teaches acting on a reservation. And America Ferrara's heritage from Honduras. I was an America Ferrara fan before it was cool. SAG, to your point, Owen, does like diverse casts. It's very true. I'd love to see Blackberry get nominated for SAG Ensemble. Won't happen. It'd be great. Or Air. Just get some love somewhere. It will when we do our predictions next year. Our Oscar nominations. But that's a little bit ways away. Best Supporting Actor.
All right, I had to make one change that broke my heart. So, but I'm still not on the Gosling train. So there's that. But I am gonna try now. Mind you, I don't want this to be misconstrued as me biting the bullet on the pulling back on past lives thing. Because I was just looking at the competition, and it's really just the competition why I have taken John Magaro out, which is something I really didn't want to do. But I think I'm gonna try this doubling up thing this month and see if that feels right. So I've got Willem Dafoe for Poor Things, De Niro for Kills of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Ruffalo for Poor Things, and Jeremy Allen White for The Iron Claw. I'm gonna try the Ruffalo thing because that's. And I feel like if there's one thing that's unanimous with a lot of people, it's that Poor Things is gonna really do very, very well. and both of them are beloved enough and have enough nominations already in the past that they've shown they can get here. Something that was crossing my mind just based on the cast lists, but then it's kind of come up since the trailer came out apparently, is I've been building up Jeremy Allen White. Like I said, it's astonishing to me that he's not everywhere with people. But Holt McCallany was also on my mind for the Iron Claw.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing that too.
So that's, and he's an actor that's been, he's one of those actors that's been in so many things you've seen that you may not remember because he's just so integrated in the business. He's just always there. So people like that tend to make really good relationships with the people who end up voting. Hence, see Octavia Spencer standing ovation when she won. that was a lot of years in the business that got her that standing ovation. And so he could be something like that. But also Jeremy Allen White's just so on fire right now. Like I said, I don't know how he's not at the front of the conversation. It's crazy. I feel like I'm going insane that like nobody's talking about the Iron Claw in their predictions. Most people. So I don't know. But yeah, the main thing here is I had to back down on John Magaro as much as I hate that to go to double up on Poor Things to see how that goes. So yeah.
Ashley?
I took out Defoe and put in Jeremy Allen White. Otherwise, it's still De Niro, Downey Jr., Gosling, and Ruffalo as well. Partially just because, again, I'm more intrigued by now having seen a trailer for Iron Claw, and it looks like, considering who he's playing, it is going to be a pivotal role in the Von Erich family story to some extent. It's got enough teeth, and from what it's hard to say, whether, because I've seen more sort of stuff of Ruffalo in various scenes than I have of Defoe.
Agreed.
In the clips that I've seen so far that have been released from it, or things like that. So Defoe could easily be in here, but it seems like Ruffalo is more screen time. But of course, that doesn't mean anything. Hi, Judi Dench.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got for now. But this will no doubt change at some point. I wouldn't say anybody is sort of safe. De Niro should be, and Downey Jr. should be, but the other three could flip about with other people.
No, I think if we want to make any certainties in October, and it's a dangerous path to cross, but yeah, I would say I can't see any world we live in that Downey and De Niro don't get in.
Yeah, they look the strongest to be certainties.
Yeah. And like AJ said, when he's putting every into the Iron Claw, and I would love to do that, given the fact that Carrie Von Erich, if those that don't know, they're going to either have to do some research or go in blind. Because if you go in blind to the Atkinson Von Erich family tragedy, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how people take to the movie. Definitely not a crowd pleaser for sure, but it's going to be something with a very powerful performance.
And me talking about people sleeping on it also. Another thing that shouldn't go ignored is its prime release date.
Mm-hmm.
I would think would surely only do it favors also.
No release date over here, though, sadly.
Yeah, so Brian had to take Magaro out as well. His supporting actor lineup is De Niro, Downey, Gosling, Ruffalo, and Jeremy Allen White. Spencer, keep fighting the good fight, my friend. Please keep fighting the good fight. Joining Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling, and Robert De Niro, we have Glenn Howerton for Blackberry and Charles Melton for May December.
Dude, if Howerton suddenly started showing up when the nominations got here, I'd lose my fucking mind.
Oh my god, it'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
I want that so badly.
Same. Josie's lineup for the 10, Jamie Bell or Paul Mescal for All of Us Strangers, Willem Dafoe for Poor Things, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, John Magaro for Past Lives, Milo Mikado Grainer for Anatomy of a Fall, Charles Melton for May December, Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things, Dom Sessa for Holdovers, Rami Youssef for Poor Things.
Yeah, I'm really greedy in this category this year because I really want Dan to run away from it, and I also really want Howerton and Magaro to be more in the conversation. And from the looks of it, all the contenders are worthy. So,
And like we talked about last season, which I don't want to think about because last season shouldn't have happened. But I will say at the end of the day, AJ asked me point blank the other day if I looked at the contenders, is there anything on the horizon that I think I'm gonna like feel that way about? Like usually there's one or two that I'm like, judging on just trailers alone and what I feel could possibly happen, I don't think there's going to be a movie in this lineup that I know I'm going to be proven wrong now that I've said it out loud, that I'm not going to at least tolerate being to get so much acclaim. Yes, Gabriel, if I go in blind, I won't be able to see the screen. Very true. Can always
Then
count
get
on
the
you.
audio descriptive version.
Yes.
I'm glad to see
Yeah,
that more of those screenings are happening.
Yeah, that's how I watched Dix on Friday. Dix the musical. That's time in my life I'll never get back. Best supporting actor. My lineup hasn't changed. Ryan Gosling for Barbie, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, and both Willem Dafoe and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Honestly,
who was your first one?
Gosling. Gosling, Downey, De Niro, Dafoe, and Ruffalo. I will say that there's a lot to be said about the fact that there's, even just judging on name value alone, there's not really anybody that doesn't belong here. So there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna miss on nomination morning that deserve to be here because the lineup's too big. Like in another year, I'd put Jesse Plemons in this list. I mean, he doesn't show up until like 3/4 way through the movie, but he's very impactful. And I would definitely put him in here if this was another year. But now, again, this is way, way too crowded. And plus, there's also people that we haven't even talked about that are in contention that no one's discussing. But that's the way with everything this season.
So Jesse Plemons is another act of the trailer not being very clear because he's about 15 seconds into the trailer.
Yeah, that's like 3/4 of the way
Well,
through the movie.
Well, 3/4 into a 3.5 hour movie, that's still plenty of time to make an impression, isn't it?
I
That's the
mean,
reason
yeah.
why I put it in here. If this was
So
another,
you were telling me about Plemons coming in late, and I know there's an example of somebody doing that and like doing well in award season, and I cannot, and I don't think I'm thinking of William Hurt in History of Violence, but he is another example.
Mhm.
And it's ever since you told me that, it's been driving me crazy. It's like I know somebody has done that where they came in really late in the game and did well, and I cannot think of who I'm thinking of.
To the chat. All right. I asked for something. I didn't get it. Hey, it's the theme of this year. Best actress.
I made one uneventful change.
Same.
I was saying if I was going to take anybody out last time, it would have been Portman, but even that I wasn't sure about. But with this Maestro stuff coming out, I went ahead and bit the bullet. So
Welcome.
I have Lily Gladstone for Kills of a Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Greta Lee for Past Lives, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone. Still not on the Robbie thing, as you can see, or the Fantasia Barrino thing. Even there's a lot of people looming around this category.
Oh yeah.
I have
Ashley.
made what you would call a ceremonial change. Just because I want to acknowledge it now, because it only opened here a few weeks back. I managed to get tickets to a free preview screening, which probably meant the box office was $1 million lower than it should have been when it actually opened, which is a shame. But alongside, I've moved Annette Bening out for the time being. She'll probably go back in next month. Because alongside Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, Margot Robbie for Barbie, and Emma Stone for Poor Things, I want to acknowledge Glenda Jackson in The Great Escaper. Holy crap. Despite being the age that she is, the wit and charm that she has is just beautiful for her old form of her character, because we do see a young form of her character in the thing as well. But it's just really well done, and I'm trying to work out whether they're going to use the one clip from the film in the obituary thing, even though I can't remember whether they did it for the BAFTA TV stuff, because obviously she would be well known for her TV stuff, what with her BAFTA win a few years back for the incredible Elizabeth is Missing, and of course back in the day for Elizabeth R back in the 70s. But yeah, I want to give a nod to Glenda, even though it will be she will go in the back burners. Just remember, I think there's a chance that she might be showing up. I I would say it's a leading role because it's very much a two-hander rather than supporting. But I'm expecting it to show up somewhere at the BAFTAs. I just want to acknowledge it here, midway through the predictions.
All right. Brian's lineup is going to be Benning for the career win, Gladstone, Hula, Mulligan, and Stone. Top Hat says I have Barrino, Gladstone, Hula, Lee, and Stone. And does ask, so we're not putting Megan in for Best Actress? No, Miss Top Hat, we're not. Brian says had to take out Greta Lee. So Spencer's predictions: Gladstone, Hula, Mulligan, Kaylee Spaney for Priscilla, and Natalie Portman for May December. Josie's actress.
Right,
Go ahead.
I had a question about the Megan joke.
Go ahead.
Is Megan leading or supporting?
Yes.
I see what you did there.
Category fraud, my friend. Zara Mir Ibrahimi for Shida, Lily Gladstone, Hula, Greta Lee, Natalie Portman, Alma Poisiai for Fallen Leaves, Naima Sentes for Totem, Kaylee Spaney, and Emma Stone. All right. So I made one change, and it feels like one that everyone else has gone with, and it's like AJ joined my carry group that Ashley has been a part of since day one as well. I joined your Sandra Hula group because I replaced Fantasia Barrino. Joining, of course, Carrie, Lily Gladstone, Emma Stone, Margot Robbie. Best actor.
So I really, really, really thought about making a change.
Same.
And I just really came down to I had two people to choose from to take out, and I couldn't choose either one of them.
Sure.
So I still have Bradley Cooper for my Schweimer and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction, meaning I still don't have DiCaprio. Eight people out with Bingo or Wright. And DiCaprio has, because there was the whole thing where I would have lost my mind if he didn't get in for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And there were some people that were starting to doubt him, and I basically went off on those people, telling them it wouldn't happen.
Right.
Because I was terrified they were manifesting that, and we couldn't have that. So thankfully that did happen. But then we had the Don't Look Up thing, where even though BAFTA took to him, he ended up missing. And I wasn't ever predicting him for Don't Look Up. So what it really just comes down to here is, even if he gives like the performance of a lifetime and Killers of the Flower Moon, when it comes down to sacrificing Colin Domingo or Jeffrey Wright, who haven't been in yet, are they gonna say, well, DiCaprio's had his and shun him from this, not completely, but from this lineup? Because there's a lot of love behind Coleman Domingo and Jeffrey Wright in general, let alone for their actual performances. So I'm gonna stay off the DiCaprio thing still. I'm not confident or anything, but just looking at the lineup, that's the conclusion I came to. I couldn't take Domingo or Wright out, so I just didn't. And
all right. Ashley.
So I have one proper change and one ceremonial change. The proper change, so the three that survive are DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon, Domingo for Rustin, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. I've moved Giamatti out for Bradley Cooper in Maestro, and then the ceremonial one, because I think he's probably somewhat safe in here. I have, shock and horror, but again, there's meaning here. Cillian Murphy is out for this month alone because I've got to find some way to put Michael Caine in for The Great Escaper as well. Because if he doesn't get in for acting, I'm getting serious here. BAFTA, you haven't given an actor an award for fellowship since what? Mel Brooks, and technically he was director as well. If he's retired, like he claims he has, and he isn't making any more, give him the bloody fellowship this year. For God's sake. Because, what a film to go out on. Again, it's just brilliantly well done. The subtle swearing as well, which has come into his stuff ever since Harry Brown and Kingsman, which is brilliant. but it tells a very interesting story, and he depicts it very well. I'm trying to work out how much of him walking is actually the sort of state that he is now, which is a shame to see, but yeah, I had to put it in, and you know, Oppenheimer was the sacrificial lamb, for at least this time around. But yeah, I want Kane to be in for acting at BAFTAs, but if not, give him the damn fellowship. For the love of God.
All right. Brian's lineup is Bradley Cooper, Coleman Domingo, Paul Giamatti, Cillian Murphy, and Jeffrey Wright. Have not changed. Right? Top Hat says, if we recall the Till snub, don't remind me, from earlier this year, there's no such thing as a lock's choice. Anything can happen. And that could be both good and bad. Lineups.
There's also
Go ahead.
I said what I was saying. Did it cut off or something?
Yeah. I heard there's also so, and then it just went dead. It's silent.
I said there's more than just Till. That's a recent example of that too. So it's more so.
Bradley Cooper, Paul Giamatti, Joaquin Phoenix for Napoleon,
something like that.
Cillian Murphy, and Barry Keoghan for Saltburn. That's the actor lineup. Spencer.
It's not a good sign for Napoleon that Ridley Scott has already said, look out for the director's cut.
The trailer's all over the place. And it looks like something, honestly, just looking at how it's shot, it feels like something that's going to get Razzie nominations. I could be wrong, but that's the vibe I get when I watch the trailer. Like, it goes all in on the subject matter, and it just misses the mark in every way possible. But we'll see. Still got a while before that one comes out. Josie's 10. Dennis, sorry, take a shot. Solilogluter for About Dry Grasses. Decap, Christian Friedel for Zone of Interest. Giamatti, Benoit Magamel for Taste of Things. Cillian Murphy, Andrew Scott for All of Us Strangers. Jeffrey Wright, and Koji Kashuo for Perfect Days. My actor lineup, one of the things you're going to notice missing from mine, I'm sure you're noticing a lot of things missing from mine, is the fact that I don't have any faith in Coleman Domingo. Just like I have no faith in the Zone of Interest. Both of which I feel are going to bite me in the behind eventually. But again, this is a year that people are going to miss. Deserving people are going to miss. And having finally seen a trailer for American Fiction, I'm much more comfortable putting Jeffrey Wright here now.
Well, before you say this, don't forget also that Colin Domingo has The Color Purple to back him up.
I know. But again, I haven't changed. Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction, Paul Giamatti for The Holdoverse, and Decap for Killers of the Flower Moon. Top Hat says Cooper, DiCaprio, Domingo, Giamatti, Murphy. All right.
Director.
Are in director now.
This is the part where like I'm still deciding like how all in on Past Lives am I?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm gonna keep Meguro as my only sacrifice. So having Pain in, I went ahead and kept what I had. So I have Lanthimos, Nolan, Scorsese, Celine Song, and Justine Triet still. And I don't. Yeah, the only honestly the even I know I should be thinking more about Gerwig, but the one that's really giving me pause is not having Pain here. And if I'm putting too much into song, but I don't. No, Pain's the one I'm worried about actually. That's about it. So yeah.
Ashley.
I don't think mine have changed. Yeah, I still have Emerald for now for Saltburn, Greta Gerwig for Barbie, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, and Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. I
Okay.
am wondering whether that will stay 2 women. There's other women that could easily fit in if we do want to go with that. As well, Anatomy of a Fall being sort of the prime contender, but I'm sticking with that for now.
All right. Brian says Justine Triet, Greta Gerwig, Martin Scorsese, Christopher Nolan, Yorgos Lanthimos. Josie mentioned Celine's song coming from a theater background helps with her directing of Past Lives because she has so much focus on blocking to a great advantage. It's very true. Spencer's lineup for director: Nolan, Todd Haynes for May December, and Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Alexander Payne for The Holdovers. Yes, literally bumped out Martin Scorsese. Good luck with that, Spencer. But again, this is a year that there's a lot of worthy contenders and someone's got to fall. Josie's 10, Nuri Bilge Ceylan for About Dry Grasses, Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest, Lanthimos, Miyazaki, Nolan, Scorsese, Triet, Vim Vendors, and Tran and Hung. Mine has not changed. So still my lineup for Best Director: Lanthimos, Scorsese, Nolan, Gerwig, Payne. We're at Best Picture, my friends. Oh no.
Again, I only made one change, but it wasn't the change I would have thought in September. So I had said before that I had American Fiction in just the last slot. But I don't want to underestimate. I think the thing that's making me not underestimate American Fiction is the track record of the TIFF winners, especially since it got it just over the holdovers, which is very interesting. So the one I ended up taking out was The Color Purple, where The Color Purple would get those 2 acting nominations and some text, and that would be it. And I put Maestro in its place as the 10th slot. So I have American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, The Iron Claw, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, and Poor Things.
Ashley.
One change. May or may not be a good move. My 10 are American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, The Iron Claw as well, knocking out Zone of Interest, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Saltburn.
Okay. Let's see. Spencer's lineup: Oppenheimer, Killers, Poor Things, Barbie, Maestro, Holdovers, Anatomy, Air, May, December, and Priscilla. Does mention also in passing, I think Blackberry may take Barbie's slot in picture. Can I have them both, please, if we're going to get them both? That'd make me happy. Like, real happy, actually. Brian says American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, Color Purple, Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Taylor Swift, The Eras. Nah, just kidding. Past Lives.
There's a chance that that might push Barbie in that Golden Globe category.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for the one that makes over 150 million or whatever. I don't know whether the Taylor Swift thing's reached that yet. Oh no, it's 178 million.
Soon.
Of course it has.
It's worth it. Real quick, Brian says there might be some people in the director's branch think that Triet to get it because they might think with her not able to be nominated for international feature when it's technically the country, it's the nominee in that category and not her. And Josie says so much of the performances rely on facial expressions in Past Lives, gestures, body language, and that's a testament to Celine's song's direction. Would you say, AJ?
Completely.
I agree. Brian says, right now I have Past Lives just in for picture and screenplay, just like Women Talking last year. All right. Josie's picture lineup about Dry Grass is All of Us, Strangers, Anatomy of a Fall, Asteroid City, I wish, Boy and the Heron, Fallen Leaves, Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Monk and the Gun, Past Lives, Peasants, Perfect Days, Poor Things, Totem, Taste of Things, Zone of Interest. And I will say that Josie is very loyal to the show because she has been doing all this typing on her phone. Kudos. Top Hat says Anatomy, American, Barbie, Color Purple, Holdovers, Killers, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things. Okay, so I have been talking up Saltburn for a while. I had to take it out because I had to move Past Lives in because it belongs here and it deserves to be here. And as much as I love Air and it's one of the best movies of the year, I also can't deny that The Iron Claw belongs here too. And I don't know why I bumped it out. It belongs here. So my best picture lineup is American Fiction, Barbie, The Color Purple, The Holdovers, The Iron Claw, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, and Poor Things. But yeah. I think that's our show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Ashley, if you can take us home here.
How do I try and close that because that seems to be misbehaving everything. Thank you everybody for joining us. We'll be back at the end of next month to do all this again. But before all that, myself and AJ and hopefully Chris, because it's his pick,
it sounds like he plans on being here from the conversation we had.
Good. We'll be discussing the final of the horror, spooky themed stuff right as we get to Halloween itself a day or so afterwards.
Literally.
With Trick or Treat and all that fun. And then 2 weeks after that, it'll be Chris again when we talk Tomorrow Never Dies. So that's your cycle, at least on that.
And we're actually getting a lot of my brother because he will be, assuming he's here for the Trick or Treat movie club, he will be in the last videos of October.
Yep.
So
a montage of talking.
And that's for a fact because those are already shot. So
yeah. That's all sorted. I know I have the 2 gaming videos planned, one which will have to be a bonus one because it will fall on Halloween itself. But I guess the November 1st one can also be me, and then I've already filmed one of the 2 McDonald's videos, which I guess will go up November 2nd and or 3rd. Mainly just so people know that they exist in the UK if they haven't seen the commercials, and because they'll only be like 2.5 weeks until they disappear off sale by then. And a whole lot of other stuff that I've been purchasing as well. Yet more weird flavoured crisps and Doritos. Yay. And Owen's got some... I think you've got some Voices of Liberty and Sip and Snacks on standby, depending on where it needs to go with the schedule, right, Owen?
Oh yeah, we're very well taken care of on content for the next few months. See some Sip and Snacks, Voices content. Yes, I have videos from the 4th, and there's even reviews from the haunts in SoCal. So I mean, there's going to be a Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood video. There's a Not Scary Farm 50th anniversary video, and there's a Six Flags Fright Fest video. All those are coming soon as well.
Good. In terms of getting in contact with us, Owen can be found at Sir Owen Disney and at Popcast Network on Twitter X. So you can keep abreast of all the things channel-wise. I can also be found on Twitter X at AshIsMyNameUK, where I'm just probably trying to win stuff or find interesting, humorous stuff to somewhat lighten your day. I don't know. AJ However cannot be found on the social medias of any kind, and just like Keith Richards is probably happy that Hackney Diamonds is released this week. Will it get number 1 in the charts? Who knows? Also, he can't be killed by conventional weapons. It's tattooed on the screen there. It's like screen burned in. It's just endlessly there. Which gets a bit annoying when I'm playing Fallout. Anyway, why the hell is that coming out in April? That's a side thing. So, you prepped and everything? I'm going to have to see if this has gone into... I've already done this on the McDonald's video. I'll have to... If you like the video and subscribe... I did that to see if the things flash like YouTube was promising they were. Does it work with live streams? I don't know. Do I care? Sort of, no. But I'm just doing it because it's a gimmick. Yeah, I'm just as good as William Castle. Abuse the gimmick! So with that being said, thank you for watching, listening, whatever you did. And until next time, the lizard is massive. Say that again.
Stream Sneaking Out of Heaven as many times as possible. Get water parks some more love.
Now I can mute.